Hello.
Hey Matty, how you doing?
Hey, I'm doing good.
So how's the day been so far?
It's been great. I actually just got done doing an interview with somebody uh, from the Czech Republic,
Wow.
and now I'm on the phone with someone from India. So we've got lots of cool sort of diversity happening with the album and getting good feedback from it. So it's good. I'm out with the rest of my band. We're doing a rehearsal day today.
Uh-huh.
So it's a fun day.
Awesome. Now just a month is left. I mean, it must be a tough period for you because you guys have written the stuff, recorded it, and it's ready to be unleashed. But that waiting period until the fans get to
Yeah.
hear it sucks, isn't that?
Oh yeah, it does. Yeah, we're all super excited for our fans to finally get to hear the songs we've been working so hard on. I mean, we finished this album back in April, so
Right.
it's already been a few months at this point, and but we're almost there. Not much longer.
That's right. Now, The Broken Lens came out and it's getting a really good response. So, from your perspective, when you guys did some research after the video was released, how's been the response so far?
It seemed great. To be honest, I try to stay off of social media comments and
Hmm.
try to stay away from everybody's opinion. But it's what I've heard. It's sounded like it's been well received, and we've gotten a lot of good feedback from even interviewers like you, who I
Hmm.
talked to, who say that they really like the album. So it seems like people are enjoying it.
That's awesome. Now, before we talk about the album, and I'm really interested in knowing how this entire thing of getting signed to Nuclear Blast came. I mean, I'm very happy that that Marcus Steger considers you guys as one of the absolute favorite American bands currently, and it's really great to hear that from a guy who has basically seen it all from the last few decades, an owner
Yeah.
of such a great record company called Nuclear Blast. So for you guys, how did this happen? I mean, how did you get to sign with the label and the entire story? How did it all shape up?
Well, I'll tell you the honest story.
Uh-huh.
Our manager was flying over to Germany to speak with Nuclear Blast about another band that he manages. He had some questions and he was going to ask if they maybe would work with this band, and he
Uh-huh.
flew over there and he talked to them about it, and Marcus kind of said, I don't want to talk about that, but let's talk about for today.
Uh-huh.
And what I heard is that Marcus stood up in the middle of his office in front of his whole staff and started singing one of our songs to
Uh-huh.
our manager. He said, they're one of my favorite bands. I think they put out some incredible albums. Uh, and he said, I'd love to work with that band. So, when we had a number of other offers on the table, but when we heard that Nuclear Blast was interested, and not that they were just interested, but that Marcus really had a lot of respect for the band, I
Uh-huh.
think that was the thing that really sold it for us. So it was an easy decision. They're an incredible record label, and we're excited to be working with them.
Absolutely. I mean, it's a bigger opportunity for you guys to spread metal across the globe since, they're one of the biggest labels present today. More like saying a
Exactly.
fresh start to your already existing wonderful career.
Exactly.
Fantastic. Now, while listening to Wake, now let's talk about the album. It is a solid effort, a powerful album, and the amount of time you guys have spent on it. I mean, to make it even more diverse than your previous albums. How has been the songwriting process for you guys, especially because I mean, even though the signing happened after the album was recorded, was there like a preconceived notion that this album has to make an impact much more than your previous albums?
Yeah, definitely. I think that the more albums you put out, the greater the pressure gets to sort of top yourself every time. I mean, we've
Right.
done so much already that this album we really had to, think outside the box and forget the old formulas and the old things that used to work for us, and ask our, and really do something new. So this album, the recording process was very tedious. Instead of having the other guys sit down and write a guitar part and then send it to
Hmm.
me and me sit down and write all the lyrics, we all really got together, and it was a very collaborative effort in which we all were making suggestions and all coming up with ideas for all the instruments. Even some of the other guys were writing lyrics, and it was a very inclusive, cooperative effort, and I think it turned out a lot better because of that.
Yeah, the collaboration always works, and the guitar tone on this album is something which I really dig. I mean, it looks like the you guys, the producer, everything has spent a lot of time honing the sound. So did you guys
Yeah.
explore the different processors and pedals and axe effects in a studio just to get that right sound on this album?
Yeah, to be honest, I don't know much about that stuff. I sit in the room and just watch the other guys work. I don't know what they're doing, but I do know that we got a guitar. We got a couple guitars custom made for this album.
Uh-huh.
We got them a bridge from a company called Evertune. That
Right.
it's a bridge that once you get it in tune, it's impossible to get it out of tune. Not even by bending the strings or anything like that. It
Hmm.
stays in tune forever. So it actually made the recording process, the actual recording process, a lot faster for
Right.
guitars because the guitar would never come out of tune. Usually, you have to retune it every couple minutes and everything like that. But this was very easy to record with, which is great.
That's definitely, and your vocals, man. I mean, it's not just great to hear the kind of diversity you bring, but the improvement in your voice has been like evolving. I mean, nobody is perfect, but then you tend to put a lot of effort, and I can clearly hear it on Vig. So for you, how was it your approach on this album? How different was it from the past?
This approach, this album, I feel like I was a lot more disciplined than ever before.
Hmm.
Like there was, usually I would just kind of go in and just record what they told me to record. But now, this album, I was up at eight in the morning every single day, and I would go to the gym for about an hour and a half, and work out, and then come back, work on work on lyrics for a couple hours, and then go in and record it. Even down to I was making sure that I was drinking a lot of water. I was going to bed at a certain time every night to make sure that I didn't stay up too late and have my
Right.
voice get dried out and sore for the next day. So I was very disciplined and made sure that my instrument was functioning properly so that it would sound as good as it could.
Definitely. And looking at the artwork and the tracks like Forced into Fire and even Wasteland, I mean, there's something about the world, about the stuff which you're trying to basically portray. So from the lyrical point of view, even though I don't have the lyrics with me about the album, what exactly was the message and how important was it for you guys to basically express? Because the artwork always has a story to tell for fans. It's not just something for fans to look and appreciate, but it's something for them to dig, that there's something in that which makes some sense.
Yeah, this album, I think really the thing that inspired me in terms of lyrics for this album is are the fans that follow our band. We go to shows all over the world, and
Hmm.
it seems like we see some of the same things at all of these shows. That there are people dealing with depression and suicide and abandonment and self harm. The people that are cutting themselves, people that are dealing with addiction,
Right.
and because those seem to be such universal struggles, we wrote a couple songs really dealing with those issues, and I put myself in that place emotionally and wrote from there, and so even everything from the lyrics to the music, I feel like to the album cover sort of encompasses this idea of struggling against darkness to
Right.
release the light that's inside of us.
Awesome. Now, was it like, because you guys strictly follow the DIY attitude? I mean, that has definitely helped you a lot. I mean, in terms of you guys have played hundreds of shows. I mean, thousands of albums sold to date. For you, with such a short career of probably around 8 to 9 years, how do you feel has this journey been? Even though you know that the record sales and the stuff has been decreasing, it must have been very challenging for you guys to basically survive.
Uh, yeah, I mean it's definitely not a really glamorous sort of lifestyle, but this is an unbelievable opportunity that we have. I'm not going to be playing in a metal band when I'm 50 years old, so
Right.
I'm thankful to be able to do it now while I'm young, and so we're just making the most of it, really.
That's right. But when do you still, think that at the age of 50 you won't be in a metal band?
Yeah, I definitely. I have no plans on still playing in this kind of band when I'm 50 years old.
Wow. I mean, I always wonder how, people like Dave Mustaine, Mike Portnoy, even with their late 50s career, they're still out there and kicking
It's
ass.
crazy. Yeah, it's crazy, man. I don't know if we're gonna last that long, but it's crazy those guys were able to do that.
Now,
Wow, thank
keeping
you.
the solid base in mind, I mean, you got an amazing fan base. You guys have played VOP, many festivals and club shows. But I always wondered, I mean, what's the plan for this album, and will it ever be possible for your fans, at least here in India, who are slowly getting to know the band, to ever see you guys live here?
Oh man, hopefully we're working very hard to put together a world tour in support of Wake. So hopefully sometime in over the next few months or maybe the next year we'll be able to get out to that part of the world. That would be incredible.
Awesome. So, any touring activities already planned for this album, more like an American tour?
Yeah, we've got a North American tour booked so far. We're working really hard to try to get to Europe right at the beginning of next year,
Hmm.
and also South and Central America. So hopefully at some point we'll also get out to India and Asia and Australia as well.
That's right. Your publicist in Australia is a very good friend of mine, John Howard. I don't know whether you guys are aware of him or not. And I was just
Oh
having a
yeah.
chat with him, and he was just, trying to figure out the logistics and the part to get you guys to Aussie land because you got some really good fans there, man.
Yeah, man. We've been there a couple times. It's always been awesome. We'd love to come back for sure.
Awesome. Now before we conclude, Matty, it's very difficult for a person who has written the album and the concept and everything, the heart and soul that has been put into it, to just describe this entire journey in just one sentence. So would you be able to do that?
It's been a wild adventure of discovering who we are, discovering who God is, and discovering what our world is.
So is Wake a clear description of your sentence?
Yeah, I think so. I think it really is, man.
Fantastic, Matty. Thank you very much for sparing some time. I would be getting this interview on radio as well to help you guys get a good, solid following from India and across the South Asia. Thanks, buddy. It's been a great time having a chat with you.
Hey, thank you so much, man. I appreciate it.
No worries. Have a great day ahead, and I'll catch you on road soon. If not in India, at least in
Yes,
Europe.
sir. All right, that sounds good.
Thanks, buddy. Take care.
Yes, sir. Bye.